everybody. This is Dale Manette from Action Coach, and I am welcome today with Mr. Jason D'Souza from Avid Action Coach. How are you today, Jason?
Hey, thanks, Dale. I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm excited to share a testimonial video with everyone today from yourself. Jason's journey is one where he is actually the general manager of one of our franchisees in British Columbia. Jason's journey has taken him through his corporate upbringing into running his own organization called King Media Management, essentially a marketing organization that had success and allowed him to see the impact that marketing and business had on his clients, and had the opportunity to join Action Coach. And he'll tell you a little bit more of his journey here right away. Outside of his entrepreneurial accolades, Jason's also an avid bow hunter. And sounds like he's going to be bow hunting for black bear just in the next short while here. And at the same time, a fun fact about Jason is, he got drawn into the Action Coach environment so much that, really for fun and for learning and growth, he flew down to our global headquarters to meet Brad Sugars. He flew down for one day just to meet Brad Sugars and shake his hand and get just a greater feel of not just the culture of the organization, but of the founder. And I think I remember that moment actually pretty well, and it sounds like it was a quite impactful one because, hey, several years later, obviously you're still around and supporting business owners, throughout British Columbia and Canada with Avid Action Coach. So thanks again, Jason. Welcome to this video, and of course, thanks again for all your support in the Action Coach community.
Of course.
Awesome. So, to get started, the first question I'd like to ask: tell me a little bit about your story, about what prompted you into wanting to join the Action Coach community?
Great question, Dale. Basically, when I was running my marketing agency, we were primarily working with small business. Well, when I first met Derek Boyes, our CEO and founder, I was predominantly working in the personal training and fitness field, working with trainers, gym owners, and I was doing advertising for them. And then meeting Derek and eventually getting into coaching, which I didn't want to do at first, but after meeting Derek in a couple of meetings, I ended up in coaching. I started working with a little bit more small businesses and some niches outside of the fitness and health arena. And what we found was that the more I got to know about business development and building, these business owners were just not set up properly to advertise. They didn't have their systems in place. They couldn't deal with the influx of leads that were coming in once we started advertising for them. Leads weren't getting closed in a new business. They'd forget things. And I felt bad, honestly, sometimes setting some of these businesses up for advertising because I could tell they weren't ready for coaching. And then I actually started to refer some of these same clients from my agency into Action Coach for coaching. And lo and behold, the ones that were coaching with Action Coach, their ads performed better. Their sales went up. They were closing more. They seemed less hectic and chaotic when I would jump on calls with them. So I started working on more of a strategic alliance basis with Avid Action Coach in my agency, and eventually came on through business development as a business development manager. And now I'm in the position I am today. So it was more so out of just finding the best route in terms of the way to work with business owners to actually empower them, I found through working with Action Coach alongside my agency.
That's cool. It's interesting to see how you've been able to kind of see those results as well. Obviously, had some tenure working with these clients in more of a marketing capacity before, but coupling it with the coaching, how much more impactful those marketing services happen to be. That's actually cool to hear. So what do you find then? And it could be from either side, even from King Media Management, and of course, from the Action Coach side as well. But what do you find that the biggest advantages that Action Coach then provides to the customers that it serves? And you can talk about that from either side, either from the Action Coach side or from the marketing side from your agency as well.
Biggest advantage that Action Coach provides for our members, our business members, I would say for sure is just that second set of ears that's kind of been through the minefield before. there's a lot of our clients, because during the coaching process, we'll provide additional things like vendor consultations, marketing consultations, team consultations, as well as the actual coaching and tracking and implementing. So along with kind of just getting your business organized and creating more of a balance between life and your business while still moving your business forward. It's also just having that second set of ears that you can call and say, hey, I'm looking at taking on this PR firm and this is a contract. What do you think? Or I'm going to be investing in this equipment. Do you think I should do that now or later? Here's my pros and cons for each, right? I'm going to be hiring next. I got these, I filtered down 100 applications and how to get 100 applications in the first place, right? And then I filtered down to these 3 people. Which one should I go with? I want your opinion, just to have that person to call who has your best interest in mind, because we don't succeed unless no one's going to continue paying for business coaching unless they're making money, right? Making profit
Sure.
at the end of the day. So, somebody who's got your best interest in mind, and then also keeps your personal goals in mind too, because the other side of this is whenever we start with a new member, they always go through some kind of a realignment or planning process where we look at what are their personal goals alongside their business goals. So what I normally say when I'm introducing my position to people is, I'll talk to our members and I'll say, my role here is to make sure that as your business is scaling, I keep your personal goals in mind alongside business. Obviously, we want to make more profit at the end of the day, not just revenue, but the amount that you keep. But I also want to make sure if you want to spend more time with your kids, if you want to go for a vacation with your wife, maybe you want to buy a new vehicle, whatever that is on the personal side of things, we keep those goals in mind too, alongside growing your business. So holistically, we just help them realign personal as well as business goals and make sure they're making some tangible steps towards accomplishing those.
That's cool. Yeah, the decisions really are in line with both of those sides of the coin. No, that's really cool, and I appreciate that. So, so that makes sense on kind of what's kind of what brought you into the Action Coach community. Now that you're have been involved with the Action Coach family for a few years now, what do you find that to be the most valuable element of being part of that Action Coach family?
I would have to say 2 things. One is the systems. We're backed by 30 years of business, 30 plus years, I think it is, of business coaching experience, 18,000 businesses around the world that are being coached at any given time through Action Coach. That's a lot of data to pull from. That's a lot of proven systems that we know work for, like I've already mentioned, hiring or creating marketing strategies or business development in general. So that is super helpful. And the other side, I would absolutely have to say the network and the community, right? Sometimes we'll need input on something we're getting printed for ourselves. We could call one of our members who's in the printing industry and get their opinion. Sometimes we have a new industry that comes into the firm and is getting coaching. We can call another Action Coach and say, hey, what kinds of things can we expect working with this member? What can we look out for, different assets that you have or tools you have that may be helpful. So just, again, that network of being able to call other folks and getting input from a variety of sources is very helpful.
Cool. Yeah. And so, and that kind of leads into another question I have here. What levels of support, or what kind of support, I guess, do you find that that you and your team at Avid Action Coach receive from the Action Coach Canada head office as you guys work with business owners, throughout British Columbia?
For sure. There's a lot. So like we just had we have a new coach coming on, Andrew Bull, and he's going through the support club calls every week with Terry over at head office there, where he's meeting up with other Action Coaches, and it's facilitated by Terry Pallier from Action Coach Canada, and they're going through KPI tracking, I believe it is, as well as a little bit of marketing, and they're sharing ideas of what they're doing to kind of get themselves off to a really good start. And so that's a weekly support call that our firm isn't involved with, that he's able to partake in, which is amazing. So that's been one. Other side of things is just infrastructure wise and building. We're always able to either get resources or leads even from Action Coach Canada that gets into our firm, or even different tools. Like we just got a subscription with the IBIS reporting system for business planning, which has been really nice as well. So again, there's that resource where we can call and say, hey, we're making this move next. How can we collaborate on it to make it easier or work better? Or can we both participate in this because it's a win-win for everybody, including our members, right? Different ways we've been able to do that, which is really nice.
For sure. No, and I appreciate you sharing that because honestly, even as you're answering the question, through my mind, it's nice when we do, a lot of these testimonials with franchise partners as well, because they, answer, these questions in their own way. But you're not, a franchisee. You're obviously working with the franchise group with Avid Action Coach. So it's cool to hear that the level of support that even a key personnel like yourself is receiving, as an additional element of your franchised organization. And it goes beyond obviously just the action coach themselves, right? So no, I really appreciate you sharing that. And I think that's important for others who are, considering, joining the Action Coach family, maybe not as a coach, but in another capacity similar to yourself.
Absolutely.
And so maybe just a couple more questions here. What has Action Coach been able to do for you in your life?
Oh, goodness gracious. Lots. I mean, from doing things like just taking a day out to go fly down to Vegas and meet Brad Sugars, right? Being exposed to a lot of and opened my eyes to a lot of different levels of business too. Like the way businesses can run in a variety of different capacities, whether there are business owners and coaches that have finished their business to the point where they're off in Bali or something living, and their business is running on its own, profiting and growing every year, or whether they different just lifestyles around being able to how you can produce that and what it looks like has been a major part of how Action Coach has impacted my life. I really value the network. Honestly, I'm a lot about the people I'm around on a daily basis, and just having people like some of the number one coaches in the world, business coaches in the world, in my phone, that are a phone call away, or connections in that capacity. We have a mutual contact who's one of the biggest figures in recruiting in Canada. Also, and just having these guys and these ladies that I could call at any given time to get some input on different, like I was buying a truck a couple of months back, and I made a couple of phone calls just to get some input from a couple action coaches, because I wasn't sure, and Derek was like, why don't you just make some phone calls and see what other people think? So just being able to sometimes get those opinions, and obviously myself being a younger man myself, having a lot of great male figures that I could look up to is always valued for myself. So that too is great. Guys like yourself, you have a family. I don't have any kids yet, so some people who, like I said, have walked through the minefield before, and being able to use that resource is really amazing. So that's kind of how it's impacted my life. Obviously, with my business as well, and being able to learn different aspects of business development and strategies for building and new ideas too is the biggest thing, right? Just because we have 30 years of research and planning and tracking and measuring that we can back, I can always find a wild, fun idea that I could try for marketing, or a new strategy on how to implement something that I'd never thought of before by just going through our portal. And then we can implement that, track it, measure it, and get feedback on how to do that even better next time. So just being able to continuously level things up has also been a huge asset on my life from Action Coach.
That's cool. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
What is your most successful lead generation strategy at Avid Action Coach?
Events.
Hosting events.
Yeah, events for sure. I think in direct ROI would be events. We have tried some lead purchase funnels that has worked out okay, I would say. But definitely great events that showcase good information that we're getting new business owners out to. Referrals has also obviously been a great aspect as well. And then I'm working on right now really developing strategic alliances, because even for those events, filling those events using strategic alliances has also been quite helpful, and a lot more straightforward using our strategic alliances to help fill those events in the first place. So definitely strategic alliances and referrals are two of our main ones.
For sure. Yeah. And the number of strategic alliance partners that end up being, sponsors for membership programs and for events as well is a big part of the process. But no, that's great to hear that. Obviously, a host, nothing like shaking hands with someone to be able to establish that trust and to help a business owner. Okay, perfect. Well, last question I have here, Jason. Anything else that you'd like to share with others who might be watching this video, who are either looking to join as an Action Coach franchisee, or joining more in like a key personnel kind of position like yourself?
Oh, geez, I don't know. do your research, make some phone calls, meet some people, and make a decision. That's the easiest way to go about it. That's exactly what I did. I made some phone calls. I met some people. I knew what I wanted in terms of career choice, development, as well as learning was a big part of my next position that I was taking on. So that's how I came to the conclusion that I should work with ActionCOACH, because I knew my ability to continuously learn and grow my education was second to none. Being part of ActionCOACH was the main thing, as well as also take a look at the 14 points of culture, right? Different ideas like integrity and commitment and communication, win-win. Those were really big in terms of how I wanted to do business myself and how I still do business to this day. I'm a man. I agree on, what you say is what you do. If you make a commitment, you stick to it. So seeing those things and shaking hands with people and seeing that they were living those 14 points of cultures to the best of their ability that's what convinced me. So that's exactly what I would recommend to everybody else.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jason. And yeah, I continue to wish you and your organization all the best as you guys go forward.
Thanks, Dale.
You're welcome.